All right, Bears fans, let's dive into this because things are starting to get really interesting in Chicago. Reports out of ESPN are pointing toward Ben Johnson, the new head coach, beginning to open up the playbook in ways that are tailor-made for rookie quarterback Caleb Williams. Throughout training camp and the preseason, the focus was heavy on fundamentals, drilling Williams on footwork, timing, reads, and all the technical aspects of the position. The message from Johnson and his staff was consistent. First, master the basics, then unleash the creativity. Now that the regular season is here, it sounds like the plan is shifting toward letting Williams be the playmaker that made him such a sensation in college. What we're hearing is that Chicago will start leaning into Caleb's biggest strengths, his ability to extend plays, throw accurately on the move, and make those off-script highlights that leave defenses frustrated and fans on their feet. We saw glimpses of this during the preseason, especially in that matchup against Buffalo, where Williams looked far more comfortable standing tall in the pocket, delivering the ball on time and in rhythm. That comfort is important, but everyone knows his ceiling comes from blending that discipline with a natural creativity that makes him special. Ben Johnson's offense in Detroit was known for its structure, timing, and efficiency, particularly with a quarterback like Jared Goff who thrives when he sticks to the script. But Caleb Williams isn't Jared Goff. He's a completely different type of quarterback, one who can beat you both with his arm and his legs, one who doesn't have to live inside the pocket to be effective. Johnson seems ready to merge those two worlds, take the reliable principles that worked so well in Detroit and fuse them with Williams' improvisational brilliance. That balance is what could make this pairing one of the most dynamic in the NFL. Let's talk about how this might look on the field. Expect more design movement plays, where Williams is rolled out of the pocket, cutting the field in half, and given the option to throw or take off running. We already saw the coaching staff test this with some bootlegs in preseason action, and those are tailor-made for a guy with Caleb's skill set. Plays like that make the reads simpler, give him clear options, and also put defenses in conflict. Do they commit to stopping the run, or do they stay disciplined in coverage and risk Williams hitting an open target on the move? Another area that could become a staple is the quick passing game. Short, decisive throws that allow playmakers like DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, and the tight ends to do damage after the catch. It's not glamorous, but it's an easy way to keep Williams in rhythm while also keeping the offense on schedule. Think of those high-low concepts with just two reads, a slant underneath, a wheel, or fade behind it. He identifies the matchup, makes the quick decision, and lets his guys go to work. Those plays feel simple, but they can be incredibly effective, especially for a young quarterback still adjusting to the speed of NFL defenses. Screens will also be part of the plan, and while fans sometimes groan when they see too many of them, Johnson has a knack for making them creative and effective. When you have receivers willing to block downfield and backs who can explode in space, screens can be easy yardage and confidence builders for a quarterback. If the Bears execute them properly, that's another way to keep Williams ahead of the chains and avoid putting him in constant third-and-long situations. Tempo is something else to watch. Williams was at his best last season in college when the game sped up, when there wasn't time to overthink, and it was just line up, snap, and go make a play. Johnson may not want to run a no-huddle offense constantly, because if it fails, the defense pays the price, but picking spots to let Williams play with that freedom could unlock another layer of this attack. It reduces hesitation and allows his instincts to take over, which is often when he shines brightest. The real key, though, is that Johnson doesn't want Williams to feel like he has to be Superman every single snap. Caleb himself addressed this recently, saying the offense doesn't need him forcing big plays, it just needs execution. Run the routes to the right depth, protect up front, get the ball out on time, and trust that the playmakers around him will do their jobs. That's a huge difference from his days at USC, where he often felt like everything depended on him. Here in Chicago, he has weapons. DJ Moore is a proven number one. Zay Flowers is emerging as a real connection piece. The backfield has talent with Swift, and the tight end group is solid. This isn't a situation where he has to drag the roster on his shoulders. He just needs to trust the system, trust his teammates, and pick his spots to make the extraordinary plays only he can. That trust in the scheme is vital because Johnson's offensive track record shows it works. In Detroit, we saw how players were consistently schemed open, how spacing and timing created opportunities. Now, with a quarterback who can not only run that structure, but also go beyond it, the possibilities expand even further. It's about finding the right balance. Discipline first, creativity second, and knowing when to let instincts take over. So as the Bears prepare for Minnesota in the opener, this is the storyline to watch. How much of the playbook opens up for Williams? How much freedom does Johnson give him to improvise? How do they blend the teaching of camp with the natural gifts that made him the top pick? That balance could determine how quickly this offense finds its stride. Early challenges are expected, especially facing a defensive mind like Brian Flores, who loves to blitz and force quarterbacks into split-second decisions. But even if there are growing pains, the long-term vision is clear. Build a system that marries Johnson's proven structure with Williams' undeniable talent. What makes this whole situation fascinating is that it is not just about installing a system. It is about building trust between a new head coach and a rookie quarterback who already has superstar expectations attached to his name. Caleb Williams arrived in Chicago with a reputation of being a magician with the football, someone who could take a broken play and turn it into a highlight. But in the NFL, if you try to rely only on that magic, defenses will eventually punish you. That is why Ben Johnson spent the entire offseason drilling the mechanics, the reads, and the responsibilities that sometimes get overlooked when a quarterback is naturally gifted. The repetition of footwork, timing, pre-snap recognition, and throwing on schedule is what gives a young quarterback the structure he needs to survive in a league that punishes mistakes faster than any college defense ever could. Now the shift is happening. The foundation has been poured, and the coaching staff is starting to build the offense on top of it, giving Williams opportunities to thrive both inside and outside of structure. If you watched him during the preseason, the improvement in comfort level was obvious. He was calmer in the pocket, sharper with his progressions, and more willing to trust the play design instead of immediately bailing out and improvising. Against Buffalo in particular, his timing throws looked like they belonged to a seasoned quarterback. That does not mean the creativity is gone. Far from it. It means he has added another layer to his game, one that will make the off-script plays even more dangerous because defenses cannot assume that he will instantly break the pocket. If they sit back waiting for him to freelance, he can slice them apart by playing on time. If they play him tight, expecting quick throws, he has the arm and mobility to extend the play and create something bigger. That duality is what has Chicago buzzing. Johnson knows he has a rare weapon, but he is being careful not to overload him. The plan is not to hand Williams the entire playbook and say, go win games on talent. The plan is to filter what works, what he has mastered, and then gradually add wrinkles that highlight his mobility, his vision, and his creativity. That means more bootlegs, more sprint outs, more opportunities to move the launch points so defenses cannot pin their ears back. It also means mixing in quick game concepts that can be executed almost by muscle memory. When you combine those two approaches, you get an offense that feels dangerous at every level. There is also the matter of how much Johnson will lean on tempo. Caleb thrived at USC when the pace was high, when it was less about dissecting everything before the snap and more about reacting to what the defense gave him in real time. Playing fast does not allow defenses to rotate or disguise as easily, and it allows Williams to lean into instinct. But tempo is a double-edged sword in the NFL. If you go 3 and out, your defense is immediately put under stress. That is why Johnson is likely to sprinkle it in, using it as a change of pace rather than a constant identity. In the right moments, though, it could be a game changer. And make no mistake, Williams is saying the right things publicly. He recently told reporters that it is not about forcing big plays. It is about doing the little things right. Run the routes at the proper depth, hold the protection, get the ball out on time, and allow the athletes around him to do their jobs. That is a refreshing mindset for a young quarterback who came into the league with the Superman label. He understands now that he does not have to shoulder everything. At USC, especially after Jordan Addison left, he often felt like it was all on him. In Chicago, that is no longer the case. He has DJ Moore, a true number one target who can win on the outside. He has Zaccheaus, who has quickly built chemistry with him in camp. He is Swift in the backfield, who is more than capable of being a reliable check down and explosive runner after the catch. He has multiple tight ends who can attack the middle of the field. And he has an offensive line that, while not perfect, is expected to be much improved. This is not a situation where Williams has to play hero ball every down. What Johnson is asking of him is to trust the design. Trust that the offense will scheme players open. Trust that the timing routes will be there. And trust that the supporting cast can finish the plays. Then, when the time comes, maybe once every 5 or 6 snaps, that is when Williams can take over, break the pocket, and do something only he can do. Knowing when to create and when to simply execute is the line between chaos and brilliance. Last season, Williams was sacked far too often because he tried to do too much. The scheme at USC did not help, with poor spacing and unimaginative concepts. But he also fell into the trap of believing he had to make the miracle play every drive. In the NFL, that simply will not work. The Bears know it, and they're coaching it out of him. That is why this partnership feels so promising. Johnson has proven his offensive concepts can work, and now he has a quarterback who brings a completely different layer of explosiveness to those concepts. Imagine the spacing and precision of Detroit's scheme combined with the improvisational ability of a quarterback who can turn a broken pocket into a 40-yard gain. That is what Chicago is trying to build. The early weeks may be rough, especially against a defensive mind like Brian Flores who thrives on blitzes and pressure, but the long-term vision is clear. The Bears expect Williams to grow into a quarterback who can both live inside the structure and destroy defenses outside of it. The projections reflect that confidence. Expectations are for his completion percentage to rise noticeably, for his yardage to surpass 4,000, and for him to account for around 30 total touchdowns. That includes rushing scores, which were strangely absent in his rookie season, but are too much a part of his natural game to stay dormant. When you consider his ability to scramble, extend plays, and power into the end zone, it is almost inevitable he finds that part of his production again. The interceptions might climb slightly, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes being aggressive and trusting your arm is worth the risk, especially when the reward is big plays that change momentum. What will matter most is the growth from week 1 to week 18. No one expects perfection on opening night, especially against a defense designed to confuse young quarterbacks. There will be mistakes, there will be sacks, and there will be frustrating drives. But the Bears believe that by the end of the year, the improvement will be clear. Williams will be more decisive, more efficient, and more comfortable. He does not need to be the savior in September. He needs to be the ascending star by December. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The wind of change is sweeping through the Windy City, and it carries with it whispers of a blockbuster acquisition that could shake the NFL landscape. Rumors have begun circulating that the Chicago Bears have secured one of the league's most electrifying wide receivers, AMON-RA St. Brown. Sources close to the team hint that the deal is done, although official confirmation has yet to arrive. If true, Bears fans may soon witness a new era of explosive offense at Soldier Field. The buzz around St. Brown is undeniable. Known for his route-running precision, hands that seem magnetically drawn to the football, and an uncanny ability to make defenders miss, he has been one of the NFL's most reliable targets since his rookie season. Chicago's receiving core has long been searching for a true game-changer. An insider suggests that the front office believes St. Brown could be that spark, capable of turning every 3rd and long into a highlight reel moment. The arrival of such a talent in a city starving for offensive fireworks has sent social media into a frenzy, with fans speculating not only about his impact on the field, but also on the team's locker room culture. Those close to the situation describe a scene reminiscent of a homecoming. Celebrations, chants, and the unmistakable excitement of a fan base ready to embrace a new hero. While the Bears' offensive scheme has often been criticized for its conservative tendencies, analysts speculate that St. Brown's versatility could force a rethink, pushing the team toward a more aggressive vertical attack. Of course, there are skeptics. Can St. Brown replicate his consistent production in a new system? Will the quarterback-WR chemistry click right away? Only time will tell, but the initial chatter is electric. Veteran players on the Bears are reportedly excited, anticipating a receiver who can stretch the field and demand attention from multiple defenders, potentially opening opportunities for the entire offense. Rumor has it that team practices may already be buzzing with anticipation, as coaches begin to envision creative ways to integrate St. Brown's talents into both short yardage and deep threat packages. Fans, meanwhile, are flooding forums with speculation, imagining sideline celebrations, highlight catches, and even playoff dreams that suddenly seem a little closer to reality. While nothing is set in stone, the mere suggestion of AMON-RA, St. Brown, and navy blue and orange has turned the offseason into a thrilling rumor mill. One thing is certain. If these whispers hold water, the Bears may have just ignited a spark that could redefine their offensive identity for years to come. And for a city that has long hungered for explosive playmakers, the potential arrival of St. Brown is enough to make every fan sit up a little taller, gaze a little longer at the practice field, and dream a little bigger about what's possible. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.